Welcome to another episode of the Punk Rock Raider. My name is Dirty D from Dirty T. I am the Punk Rock Raider. Today we're talking receivers, my favorite position. I played some of it in high school. It's my favorite to scout. We're going to do the 2026 NFL wide receiver primer, draft primer. Going to talk about the top 10 receivers. Going to talk about a guy that I think would be a perfect fit, a guy that I think is the most underrated, and then a guy that I think is overrated. Although there's a lot of those in this receiver class, I think. But I can talk about that another day. Especially, I'll have more of those type of videos about other prospects I think are underrated, overrated on my other YouTube channel, which is the Punk Rock NFL Draft. And then on my Patreon, I'll have a lot of extra videos and posts about that. Link is in the video description. I also have a draft guide, has scouting reports on all these players if you want to see more in depth why I think they're overrated, underrated, why I have the rankings that I have. You can see all my rankings. Without further ado, though, let's get into this video. A free way that you can support this channel, though, before I do that, like and subscribe. If you don't want to pay for Patreon, I completely understand. But if you like and subscribe, you don't got to pay anything, and it still supports me quite a bit. So, with my top 10 receivers, I'm going to go do a brief overview of the players here. At number 10, I got Deshaun Stribling out of Ole Miss. 9, I've got Elijah Surratt. Really like the player. I think he reminds me a lot of Jack Besh. So I'm not going to be as high as him as being a Raider. But I think he is a good player that at least would be a solid number 3 in the NFL. Skylar Bell at number 8. Big fan of his. Casey Concepcion is down at 7 for me. I still like him. I worry about his profile since he struggles against zone. And there's a lot of zone coverage in the NFL. I think he's developing a lot as a receiver. The drops are really concerning, although he shows plenty of reps that show you he has good hands. He had excellent hands at the combine, but he just drops more through his whole career than you're comfortable with. Jeremy Bernard is my number 6 receiver because you don't have to worry about him dropping the ball. I also think he's more athletic than he gets credit for. I think he's got some elite traits. I'm a really big fan of Jeremy Bernard's. His just ability to kind of just like spatial reasoning, just instincts and feeling of what's around him and how to move and where to move is an elite trait, I think. Reliable receiver, always where he needs to be. It's good size. I think he's a prototypical NFL C, and he can play some slot, play some outside, but prototypical Z. I got David Boston at number 5. He's your prototypical X, but I think besides the big body, besides maybe not being the most fleet of foot, he is pretty quick out of transitions, very fluid mover, can create separation, especially on intermediate routes, that I don't think is talked about enough, and I really do like David Boston. Carnell Tate is my number 4 receiver. No, I don't hate Carnell Tate, but I do think that most of the way he wins is as a number 2 receiver in the NFL because he wins on deep separation, deep routes, not as much intermediate. He's not like explosive out of breaks. He's more of a sideline boundary receiver. I think he's very much more a number 2, potentially a very high-end number 2. But I think he's the number 2 receiver in the NFL. Mekhi Lemon, my number 3 receiver, and it's very close between him and Omar Cooper Jr. But Mekhi Lemon, I just love the toughness. Reminds me a lot of that Amon-Ra St. Brown, even that JSN type of player. Great at creating separation. Tough as nails. Absolute dog. Blocks his ass off. Comes down with the ball. Has the mentality you want out of a receiver. I think he could be a modern-day number 1, just not your X, more out of the slot or maybe a Z, maybe a hybrid. Omar Cooper Jr. is my number 2 receiver. And then I think Omar Cooper Jr. on that same, it's that same discussion, but I just think he's more athletic. He's got a little more size to him. He's a little tougher. Again, great run blocker. He gives you everything you want. Out of a modern number 1 receiver. And I think, If for some reason he's available for the Raiders, he'd be the perfect number one receiver besides another guy for a Kubiak type of offense. Um, I think that in the right place, Omar Cooper Jr. is going to just blow up in the NFL. I love his yards after catch ability. I love how physical he is. I love his ability to change tempos and routes. He's a brilliant route runner. He's got great release packages. I think he's a good NFL. He's going to be a number one receiver in the NFL. And then Jordan Tyson, injuries be damned. Like, if it's not for injuries, this is a blue chip player, and he's just that talented. That if we're just talking talent, he's the one player on your board. If you're not drafting him, it's because of injuries. I hear too much narrative that he's just not the number. He's the number one guy. He moves like Justin Jefferson. If the injuries scare you, then you're taking him off your board. It's not because he's not the most talented, because he's the best receiver. He's just got a red flag. Best receiver, but with a red flag. So that's my top 10. There's a guy I really want to talk about, though, as a scheme fit who is on this list. And it isn't Omar Cooper Jr., as much as I love him, because it's going to be hard for us to draft him. I don't think we need to, go out of our way to take a receiver way too early. But I do really like third. I'd prefer fourth round, but third, fourth round, fifth round, taking a guy that can play either that X or that Z. And I really like Skylar Bell for the Z receiver role. This is his first year really breaking out. He put up good stats last year, but the analytics weren't as good. But this year, he absolutely blew up. 6 feet tall, 192 pounds. He's got good enough size. He ran a 4.4. He is plenty explosive, plenty quick enough. He's a very good route runner, very good at gaining separation, very good running after the catch. He did get a lot of production on screens, but it wasn't it gets weird because he had almost the most screen yards catches of any player in this class, but he also had one of the higher yards per route run because he did run a lot, especially of on the deep intermediate. He gives you that ability all over the field, and again, I think he's a perfect fit for Kubiak's offense of players in this range. He came down with a lot of contested catches this year. He's got really big hands. So he has the ability to pluck the ball, strong hands. He did previously have a drop issue. This year he didn't. But it's important to note that this is the only year he didn't have a drop issue. I just think that this is a prototypical Z receiver in the NFL. And if you aren't going to be able to get a guy earlier in the draft like Umar Cooper Jr. type of player, you don't take a Jeremy Bernard type of player. This is a guy that third round probably, hopefully, if they're available, would really fit that role really well and be an excellent fit for Kubiak's offense. Another player that I think would be an amazing fit for our offense that is also the most underrated receiver in the class is Dejuan Stribling out of Ole Miss. Good size, 6'2", 207, graded out well this year. If you watch any Ole Miss football, especially down the stretch, he really showed up. He became their number one receiver. At the beginning of the year, it was more Harrison Wallace, but he took over as the number one receiver. I like that he showed he could play slot, he could play outside, he played a lot of that Z. He's got alignment versatility for you. He, before his testing, even though you'd watch him and be like, wow, he made some big plays, but did he make big plays because he's playing in college, because he profiled to do that in the NFL? He more profiled like a Jeremy Bernard. If you read other people's takes on him, it was good size, good, at knowing where to be in a route, reliable catcher, tough and rugged after the catch, good at making stuff happen at the catch. One of the best run blocking receivers, but maybe not the explosive guy. And then he ran a 4.37 40-yard dash. If you really watch the tape, the dude has jets. The dude is quick. I think he can get a little better. Sometimes he isn't as explosive on his breaks, but he has shown the ability to use tempo in his routes, really good on back shoulders. I think he can be an alignment versatile receiver. And I don't know why we're not talking more about this guy. I love how much of a dog he is in the run game. He had been hurt in the past, so medical's injury is something to look at. And he is a fifth-year receiver, fifth-year prospect. So age, durability are things you're going to want to check the medicals for sure. But, like, the tape is very good. And he showed the ability to win at all three levels. He showed the ability to win underneath. I thought he was at his best in intermediate routes, and then he could win deep as well. And he could win some of those contested catch situations. He wasn't excellent at that. I wish he was like a little more physical getting to the catch point, but he didn't drop passes. Like again, it's a very Jeremy Bernard profile. I don't think he's quite as good as Jeremy Bernard, and I think he's a little older and more injury prone, but he's more explosive. So this is a guy that like we could absolutely be talking about as one of the diamonds from this class. I don't know why more people aren't talking about him because the tape is good. The athletic profile is good. The size is good. He's a dirty work receiver that can absolutely blow you up with some explosive plays. He's great after the catch. He's tough after the catch. And if you give him a crease, he had one against Georgia where he broke a tackle and then just outran everybody. Um, really big fan of Dejuan Stribling. I think Dejuan Stribling is who everyone wants my most overrated player, or one of them. I wouldn't say most, but one of them. I've got 4 or 5 guys I could put here, but today I want to talk about Chris Bell. And I absolutely do think, and if Kubiak's one of them, I'm okay with it. I think there is a role Chris Bell can play in the NFL, 100%. My problem is most of these guys don't pan out. He's got great size. If the analytic, if you're just looking at the raw data, you're like, dude, this is a top 4 prospect. Hey, coming off an injury, I think it was an ACL tear. I think it was a clean tear, so I think it's something that he's on track to recover from. He should be back by training camp, but he'll miss some of the earlier stuff, which to me is an issue. When you watch the tape, though, this is tape versus pure data. Because you're like, hey, a lot of this stuff that we look at for data, he's good at. He had almost all of his targets were like drag slants, quick curls. It was not translatable to the NFL game. Not much of a release package. Not any nuance. His game is I'm bigger, stronger, and faster than you. Like even with as a ball carrier, great at breaking tackles, getting to full speed, and outrunning people. A lot of his yak felt like it was I break a tackle, the field's open, and I can just outrun everyone. That's not going to happen in the NFL. I think you could take advantage of that. Like he could develop. You could use him as a big power slot the way um, the Chiefs use the SMU guy. I can't remember his name right now. The guy that's always in trouble. Anyway, he can. There's a role for him. Maybe you could even use him in like a Deebo Samuel type of way. He's so good with the ball in his hands. But again, a lot of that is just running through people and running away from people, not true like ball carrier instincts. I just don't see a NFL translatable skill set. This is much more Xavier Legette. This is much more um, guy from Ole Miss a couple years ago. Went to also Carolina that busted in the NFL. It's with the Cowboys now, I think. Can't remember his name. But I don't see a guy that, like, if you have the right plan for him, I can see him working. But He's going to miss some of the offseason I think he needs. He's not a nuanced player. His way he produced wasn't NFL projectable production. It was all drags, it was all slants, and then some back shoulder throws. But it was mostly like run up, turn around, get the ball, and run. It was I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, I'm faster than you. And then even on some of those contested catches, you'd see him short arm. You'd see him let guys get into his body. I mean, you'd see excellent plays. And I think there's an NFL receiver here. I just think I have him more in the third to fourth round range. I'll probably have him as like a third round talent, closer to a fourth round grade because of the injury. Because you don't get that rookie mini camp. You don't get those OTAs. You're probably just going to get training camp, hopefully. Maybe not even all a training camp. So he's a guy that's going to come in behind the bell curve off of an injury that isn't NFL ready. I'm not comfortable with that. So that's to me why I hear people saying, oh, without the injury, he's a top 5 receiver. No, he's not. He's still a third round player to me because he's big, fast. Like, he's really good at, you just get him on a drag, get the ball in his hands and give him some space. He breaks the tackle and he runs. He's not good at setting any of that up. If you can set him up, if he goes to a Shanahan offense, if he, Rashee Rice is who I was thinking of earlier. If you put him in maybe a Rashee Rice role, even Rashee Rice, though, I think was better at setting that stuff up as a power slot. But, hey, maybe if you put him in a power slot, you get him on some drags, you get him some open space. Sure, but, like, I don't know you'll be able to do that. If you feel confident you can, go ahead and take him in the second, third round. Sure, go ahead and take him in the second round. But if you don't know you can do that, because I don't know that he can do anything else in the NFL, and he wasn't like a great blocker either. I would rather take a Deshaun Stribling in that type of role, who I saw do more receiver stuff than I saw Chris Bell do. Dejuan Stribling was a better receiver than Chris Bell. Also big, strong, and fast as hell. I'd rather have him do that. That's going to do it for my primer today. Again, I have more content available on my other channel, Punk Rock NFL Draft, as well as on my Patreon. That is in the description below. Please like and subscribe. My name is Dirty D from the Dirty T, and I hope you have a great day.